The idea for the Zephyr came from the president of the Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy Railroad, Ralph Budd. It was the Great Depression, and the railroads were feeling the pinch like everyone else. Ralph wanted to create a train that would compete with the growing popularity of automobiles and airplanes. 3 new railroad developments came together to create the Pioneer Zephyr: streamlined car body design, articulated trucks, and diesel-electric motive power. All 3 contributed to the Zephyr's impressive speed capabilities. Budd's first step was to meet with Edward Budd, president of the Budd Company. The 2 executives weren't related, but they shared a vision for creating an exciting new train. The company was relatively new to the railroad industry, but they had recently developed a process called shot welding to join stainless steel. This new process would be perfect for the Zephyr. Most of the body would be fluted. The sides were formed with individual curved pieces of 0.03-inch stainless steel shot welded together. This shot welding process reinforced the thin metal and prevented wind shear when traveling at high speeds. The roof and floors were corrugated 0.02-inch stainless steel with grooves pressed into it. The grooves added sturdiness to the pliable thin sheets of metal while keeping the overall weight of the train to a minimum. Articulated trucks also reduced the weight, enabling the train to go faster. Plus, there were less moving parts, which cut down on maintenance. GM's new 2-stroke diesel engine was chosen to power the streamlined beauty. They named the train the Zephyr after the Greek god of the west wind. When the train was finished, she was immediately scheduled for a highly publicized trial run between Denver and Chicago. Unusual safety precautions were put in place. Switches were welded, police guarded every crossing, and freight traffic was parked on sidings. After leaving Denver at 7:05 a.m., the Zephyr streaked to Chicago in 13 hours and 5 minutes, arriving almost 2 hours ahead of schedule. Average speed was 77 miles per hour, and the Zephyr reached a top speed of 112 miles per hour, just missing world speed records. The Zephyr was a resounding success, and the Burlington Railroad immediately ordered more, each with an extra car. That first train was renamed the Pioneer Zephyr. In all, there were 9 Burlington Zephyrs in service. After traveling over 3 million miles in 25 years, the Pioneer Zephyr came to its final resting place at the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago in 1960. Over the years, several models of the Burlington Zephyr and his distant cousin, the Flying Yankee, were built by companies such as American Flyer and Lionel. The tin plate pre-war models have become collectible and add to the overall whimsy of a bygone era of toy train production. In 2004, Lionel produced a new model of the train. The sturdy die-cast construction gives the train a feel of quality.
Burlington 9900, Pioneer Zephyr, you are cleared outbound.
Rail sounds include authentic Whitney 2-stroke diesel roar, along with traditional tower comm and crew talk. While there have been many models of the Burlington Zephyr made over the years in various gauges, what distinguishes this Lionel model is the reflective chrome finish, which perfectly matches the prototype. Highly detailed cab and car interiors complete the model.
Attention passengers, the 20th Century Limited is now arriving on platform 1. Time to party, 20th Century Limited, all aboard! Attention
For over 100 years, Lionel's key marketing tool has been their catalogs. Boys anxiously awaited each new release and studied every page, their imagination sparked by the irresistible color images. Showroom layouts were another way Lionel captured the hearts and minds of young boys. For those lucky enough to visit New York City, seeing the Lionel showroom layout was a begged-for privilege and provided memories that would last a lifetime. Today, there are still Lionel catalogs and showroom layouts. But what's new are the incredible traveling displays Lionel takes to train shows all around the country. The newest and most amazing display ever was recently unveiled at the Train Collectors Association meet in York, Pennsylvania. This 60 by 20 foot exhibit was designed and built by TW Design in Dallas, Texas. They don't do anything small in Texas. The TW stands for Theatrical Warehouse. For many years, TW Designs specialized in building sets for the theater and exhibits for trade shows. Roger Farkash, founder and creative director of T&W Design, explains how his company made the transition from live shows to the toy industry.
From the beginning, our whole goal was to build sets for theater, for stage and film, here locally in Dallas. And in that area, in that career, we use all kinds of artists and craftsmen. They're metal workers, woodworkers, scenic artists, sculptors, people who work in plastics. So all the crafts are represented in all the types of displays that we work in. So we have a real depth in terms of the talent here at TW Design, simply from all of the other industries and types of venues that we work in. We can take all those crafts and use all those specialty items and specialty materials in the displays that we build.
Once TW entered the toy business, it was only a matter of time before TW Design and Lionel got together.
We started discussions with Lionel in 2000 in regards to developing a new trade show booth for them. What we did was took the look of the 840 power station and created a booth, a perimeter wall, set of walls that replicated the look of the toy itself, and included the Lionel logo on the smokestacks, and had an inside that really reflected the 21st century look, the bright brushed aluminum, lots of lights, the product on the walls surrounding them. So we actually stepped into the toy from the past into the Lionel of the future. That was really the first step of working together with Lionel.
Jerry Calabrese, president and CEO of Lionel, was impressed with what Roger and his team were doing. Roger and Jerry met, discussed various possibilities, and settled on a not-so-modest goal. Let's make the largest and most lavish celebration of toy trains ever, they said. All that remained was to work out the specific design details, and, of course, to do the work.
The first thing that we ask is what are the maximum perimeters that the display will be used in. In addition, we need to know what the max presentation of the layout portion of the display would be. So once we have those parameters established, in terms of the largest, we need to know, okay, what's the smallest? Where is the smallest use going to be? There are many times that you may do a display in a convention hall and turn around and 2 weeks later you may be in a hotel ballroom or even smaller venue. Here's our third parameter. It has to fit on a truck. It has to be able to be disassembled and put together easily and fit inside a minimum size truck and then a maximum size truck. Once we get a sign-off, all of the detailed drawings need to be done, and that can take, especially on a booth this large, about 4 to 6 weeks, depending on the project. From the actual start of construction to the delivery at York in October was about 8 weeks total production time. So overall, from sign-off to delivery, it was about 3 months.
The finished product can best be described as a spectacular Lionel showroom on wheels and a candidate for the Guinness Book of World Records.
Basically, there's towers, 4 towers that run across the back of the booth on 20-foot increments. Between those towers is cabinetry that supports a slat wall unit. The center 2 towers of the back wall have corresponding towers at the front edge, the 20-foot edge of the booth, that are connected by arches, basically a truss bridge-looking arch with the Lionel logo that connects the 4 towers. That 20 by 20 elevated perimeter at approximately 7 foot 10 inches tall has a 72-inch radius track that runs around the perimeter of the booth at the top. Each of the tower units contains the transformers and track to have 4 operating trains on each of the towers, an illuminated header which shows off the Lionel logo, and then a speaker system that plays a background ambient type of soundtrack of engine sounds and whistles and horns and steam being released from the valves. The outside front corners, each of those corners has another cabinet with a slat wall panel that shows product on one side and has a flat screen, 30-inch flat screen monitor mounted to the face so that we can show new catalogs or videos. And the ultimate goal is to actually have an interactive touch screen there so that people can flip through the pages of catalog on a video screen. In the center of all of that is the 40-foot display, the actual train layout. We have 9 trains that are operating on the layout at all times. We have 2 subway stops underneath the center section, the city part. There's an elevated subway in the city. There's a loop that goes around the perimeter of the city. There's also super streets that run in the center of town.